area of my office that you guys have never seen before. This is just like a little closet space because, you know, this is a bedroom that I'm using as an office. We've got like a shelf up here where I keep mugs that haven't been in videos yet. And this usually is kind of my arts and crafts corner. I have a little rolly cart with like a bunch of drawers in it. That has been moved out of the way so I can film this video. If you have read the title of the video, you know what it's about, and this is how I'm choosing to display it. We're going to go through all of the seasons of Dimension 20, and I'm going to tell you where they rank for me personally. So we have the best up at the top and the worst down at the bottom, in my opinion. These are my opinions, and I do want to get that out of the way. These are my own personal opinions. Some of these are based on like actual things, like, oh, I didn't really like that character arc. Some of these are vibes based. So if you're upset, I'm sorry. I'm not going to go in depth in any of these because there's a lot of them, and I don't want this video to be too long. That being said, I have a little bit of notes for each one individually just so I can keep myself on track. I have watched every single one of these seasons at least once, some of them more than once, some of them more than 3 times. I have watched all the available adventuring parties for every season that has available adventuring parties. Some of them don't. So while these are all opinions and kind of vibes based, I do have like some stuff I'm working with, you know? But I do just want to say one last time, these are my opinions. If you're upset because I put your favorite season pretty low on the list, I'm sorry. Or if you think that I put a season you didn't like pretty high on the list, I'm sorry. My last disclaimer is there are going to be spoilers. There are going to be spoilers for every season of Dimension 20. I obviously don't want to name the chapters what the season I'm going to be talking about is, because then you'll know my order beforehand. So what I'm going to do is when I reveal one by taking down this, I'm going to put the little disclaimer in the corner, just saying disclaimer spoilers for this season, just so it's like up on the screen so you can fast forward to the next section if you want to. However, if you see me reveal a season you haven't seen yet and you don't want spoilers, probably just go to the next one. And just because there are going to be spoilers, it's not like I'm trying to spoil. Again, I'm not talking about the season like super in depth. I'm just going to be talking about it generally and my vibes and how it made me feel and maybe some other things about it. So if you want to stick around and watch it even though you haven't seen the season, that's completely up to you. I just want to let you know I might say some things that are kind of spoilery when I'm talking about the season, and I'm not going to sit here and think super hard about that. I'm just trying to, again, give my opinions. So for this list, I wanted to do it slightly different than normal. Normal people either start at the top and go to the bottom, or start at the bottom and go to the top. That's fun and all, but it's not as fun as if you did it kind of randomly. What I want to do is I want to start in the middle and go opposite directions. So I'll start here and then pick one from this side, one from this side, one from this side, one from this side, until we end up getting to the first and last place. I want to do this because it kind of keeps it fresh, and then we can talk about something I like and something I don't like instead of talking about a bunch of stuff I didn't like in a row. I also like this better because if you haven't seen your favorite season yet, then you won't know if it's because I really like it or because I really hated it. And I just find that more fun. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to keep it from being like a bunch of like really negative commentary, either front loaded towards the front of the video or towards the back. Like I wanted it to kind of be like equal opposite. I do understand how that'll be confusing though. So the chapters are going to be numbered where they place on my list. So this one is going to be placed at number 1. So wherever you see number 1, which should be the very last chapter in this video, that's my favorite. This one is number 26, should be the second to last one in the video. So if you just find your favorite season, you can look at what number it is and kind of decide for yourself, or just listen to the video and see where I think it places. This is going to be an extremely long video. We'll see how many times I have to change out the camera battery and or let it cool down because it overheats constantly. Alright, so since there is an even number of Dimension 20s, there is no true middle. So I started with the middleist closer to the least favorites, right? Does that make any sense? So this is the exact middle. There's no one in the exact middle, so I'm just going to go towards the least favorites first because I wanted to end with my favorite. Number 14 on my tier list is going to be the Unsleeping City Season 1. Unsleeping City Season 1 was a mid-season to me. To be fair, I did not watch these seasons in order. I started watching Dimension 20 like 2 years ago. So this might have been a bigger deal to people who saw it when it was coming out, but to me, seeing it several years later, it was mid. Again, these are all my opinions. Please don't be mad at me. My favorite character of this season specifically was Riki Matsui. I loved Riki Matsui. I did have a hard time picking a favorite character for this season. I did really like Pete. Kingston was a lot of fun, but Ricky really got it for me. Sophia Bikes was also fun, but sometimes you just need that fun, dumb energy, and I loved that. And I am really not a romance person. I really dislike romance in pretty much all of my media. However, I loved the romance between Esther and Ricky. Dimension 20 always has great battle sets, and my favorite moment overall for this season had to be the bodega fight. That was really fun. I really liked how a bunch of different stores opened up in a row like that. I really liked Sophia getting to show off all her new skills and stuff. La Gran Gata got introduced in this fight, and that's a lot of fun. My least favorite part about the season would have to be the whole wedding arc. I don't know if it even counts as an arc. It wasn't very long, but it was longer than I liked. It was like 2 episodes at the very least, and it kind of didn't it mattered in the end, but it was also kind of like a major detour, especially when they had to leave the wedding and come back. That felt really weird, which brings me to what I would change about the season if I had any power whatsoever. And again, I don't. These are all just my opinions. This was before they started doing less battle episodes, and the battle episodes are fucking amazing. Like, obviously they're great, but especially with a season like this, it really felt like they had to be railroaded a little bit to get to battle episodes, right? There are some seasons where the battle episodes do feel much more natural, especially seasons where they don't have to be every other episode. But this is still a season where they were doing that, where every other episode was a battle episode. So times like when they were at the wedding, but then they had to leave the wedding to go do a battle somewhere else, like that doesn't really make a lot of sense in my head. It felt a lot like Brendan had to specifically railroad them in a direction. It felt really, really like that this season. A lot of the other seasons don't feel like that, even with battle episodes every other episode, but this one really felt like that. Again, overall, this is a fine season. It's just definitely not one of my top favorites. Another thing about this is I don't give a shit about New York. I'm so sorry. I know most of the cast is from there, and that's why they did it, and they love it. But this season did not make me want to go to New York. It did not make me want to feel like more in tune with the New York happenings. I don't care. Maybe people from New York will care much more, but it's like, I don't know. New York doesn't really mean a lot to me, so this season in turn didn't really mean a lot to me. Okay, next up, this one is going to be number 13. So again, dead middle, but slightly towards the positive. We have Dungeons and Drag Queens Season 2. Not to give spoilers or anything, but I loved Dungeons and Drag Queens. Season 2 was good. They got a lot more episodes. They had so many more battle sets. They had much more of an arc in this one. All of the queens knew their characters better and knew how to play it a little bit better. So that's fun to see. Fun to see them grow and really enjoy this game that they only got the chance to play a little bit in the first season. I'm so glad they wanted to come back. That being said, there were a few things this season that felt kind of stale to me, which is why it ends up being kind of mid-range. My favorite character this season is Gertrude. I like a lot of the actions Gertrude takes. I think Bob as a player, Bob thinks a lot about his actions before he plays, and that can be really fun, especially since Bob also does the fun part. It's not only metagaming. I don't think Bob metagames. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is even above the table, the way he thinks about the game and then how he plays Gertrude and how Gertrude acts are so fun to watch. My favorite moment would have to be the dragon fight. I absolutely loved the mechanics, the actual ball rolling, how the ball would turn into tiny little gremlins. That was so fun. My least favorite thing was Twyla's romance. Again, I'm not really a romance person. It felt super rushed, but what are you gonna do in a very short season of Dimension 20? It just felt kind of random. I did love Spalding. I did love Spald. I think that's his name. I can't remember. I liked him, and I thought his story was really good, how he lost his wings. That's a really interesting story. I just don't really understand why Twyla liked him besides being horny, and I don't know, that just doesn't do it for me. Something I would change about this, I think it was a little bit too long. There was just a few parts where it felt like it kind of stalled a little bit, and I wished it could have been a little bit tightened up. The 4-episode season was so good and so tight, but it really didn't give the characters a lot of room to breathe, so I understand them wanting to do a longer season. But this one, sometimes it just felt like we were kind of treading water for a little bit, and I felt like it might have been better as a 6-episode season. But I don't know. We had some pretty great moments in there. Going back down towards the negative side, number 15, we have A Court of Fae and Flowers. Now, Abria is my favorite DM, and this season, I did like it. That's why it's not down here on this level. I just don't like romance. Romance is really not for me most of the time. However, my favorite character was Captain Hobb. I really liked the idea of having just this weird goblin creature in the midst of all these fancy fairy people. That's very funny to me. The romance with Rue was cute. However, it's just again not my thing. Oh, that's cute, and then I want to move on. There were a lot of reveals this season that were really fun, and I loved the system where they ranked in popularity. That was fun. But again, it was just this overall vibe of the whole season was about romance, and I just don't like that. I don't find that very interesting. My absolute favorite moment was the whole Green Hunter thing, especially when Lou had written out like a small sample script and a mispronounced stethoscope. Very funny. Again, I just kind of really liked the chaotic fun vibe, but then when they would go towards the dramatic romance, that's just really not me. That's not what I enjoy. And again, my least favorite moment is just kind of any moment where characters are going, oh, I'm so unlovable. That just, it's not very interesting to me. I know that's like 90% of romances, and I understand the characters and why they're saying that, but it's not what I like to watch. And as for changes I would make to the season, I just don't like romance. So besides saying change it away from a romance, which kind of defeats the point of the whole season, like there's not much I can really change about that. All right, we'll go next to our number 12 position. Number 12, we have A Crown of Candy. There's a lot that I liked about Crown of Candy, but there were some just big things that really made me kind of look over it or not want to watch it that much. First of all, it's kind of the only serious season. Like, I'm trying to think, and this is kind of the only serious season except for the Rabbiting War, which is basically the same world. Basically, no, it is the same world. So it is a serious season within a comedy kind of group, which I understand, and I kind of liked the more serious tone. I hate Game of Thrones. So that might have put a little bit of a damper on it. It was this weird kind of like, there were super, super serious moments, but since they're comedians, there would also be like a joke immediately afterwards. Every now and then it felt really like jolting you from one feeling to another, which is kind of weird, and sometimes it didn't land very well for me. My favorite character is Saccharina. I had a really hard time like picking a favorite character. Like, I really liked Jet, but also like I didn't get to know her very well. I really liked Liam, but also like there's not really a lot going on with them. I really liked LePam, but we didn't get to see his whole arc with the Sugar Plum Fairy. Cumulus was funny, but I didn't really get to know him as a character very well, like that kind of stuff. So it was hard for me to narrow down a specific character. I ended up going with Saccharina because I think her kind of refusal to be the queen is at least interesting. She has a really dry sense of humor that's fun, and then when she like fucking wipes people out with her magic, that's just cool. My favorite moment would have to be the battle when they're in the sea with the cheese boats, and Liam has just become a Gloomstalker Ranger, and he realizes he has umbral sight and can walk around completely in the dark, and he completely like just destroys the ship captain. Like, that's just such a fun moment watching Allie like grow as a D&D player, because I think this is like the second or third season. Like, this is pretty early on. Watching Allie grow as a D&D player, as well as Liam the character having his arc, as well as just amazing game mechanics. I really like game mechanics. Primsy's in that fight, and I like Primsy. So I think that's probably gonna have to be like my favorite moment in this season. Things that have changed about the season. Allow me to talk my shit. Ruby should have killed Saccharina, and I understand that the reason this didn't happen was because Emily and Siobhan are just really good friends, and that's kind of a shitty thing to do to your friend. But narratively speaking, it made way more sense if Ruby had just straight up shot Saccharina. I feel like this would have been an amazing conclusion to Ruby's arc. Like, her finally growing up all the way, almost too much. Like, she's like young and innocent in the first like 2 episodes of the season, and by the end of the season she has to make like a horrible choice that she didn't actually have to make, but she feels like it's the only thing she can do. I understand why Siobhan would want to not do that. I also understand the idea of how at the end Ruby says she needs a sister, like, let's be her family. My issue with that is Ruby spent so many episodes being sad about Jet and being mad at Saccharina that the flip is so sudden. I think it would have been easier for me to understand and grasp and like feel comfortable with if they had spent more time with Saccharina and like being nice to Saccharina, because they're mean to Saccharina for no reason, or the opposite, or she kills Saccharina and never gets over Jet. It just seemed like she was mean to Saccharina, hated Saccharina, mean to Saccharina, hated Saccharina, never mind, I'll spare your life. Like, it wasn't in character, I feel like. Again, I understand why the player Siobhan did that. I don't think Ruby would have. Siobhan knows that. It was in the adventuring party. But to me, it just doesn't feel right. Ruby's arc doesn't feel right the way it ended. If there were a few more episodes, or like more episodes, basically a very long campaign, I could see that happening and making sense, and then Ruby ending up getting her comeuppance in some way. But it just doesn't make sense in my opinion, because it's like, I rewatched it pretty recently and I like was sitting there going, I didn't remember Ruby being, like I remembered Ruby being upset about Jet, but not for so many episodes. Like Amathar kind of gets over it kind of quickly, and like so does Theo. Like everyone besides Ruby kind of gets over it, and I'm not saying that's normal or right, and this is trying to be a realistic season, so I can understand why Ruby took so many episodes just to be sad about Jet. But it was kind of like, is this your only arc? Like I hate to say that, but I wish she had more depth to her than just I'm sad about my sister, especially since her arc ends with not really doing anything about that. I don't know, it just felt very like, if this is your plot point and your characteristic, it doesn't make sense that she would spare Sakurina. I don't know, I just feel like an arc like that needs to conclude with the morning being over, and it felt like it was never really over. Never satisfying to me in any way, at least. Now we're on to number 16. Misfits of Magic Season 2. Now, we talked about how I don't like romance. So the fact that there's a player romance, you know, obviously not going to be my favorite. My favorite character, Evan Kelp, obviously. I love Sam, and I love Jammer, but the way Brennan plays Evan is just like, it's hard to beat. My absolute favorite moment of the season was that really dark episode where they go to, I think they go to Galpenny, and they see all the wizards there that are like destroying their magical items just to get like a little taste of magic again. Absolutely love that. Haunting, and I love it. I love that it's absolutely destroying them, and they just refuse to take help from these people that were their friends. I love that. That's my style. My least favorite was that fucking hospital episode. I hated that. Not a fan of romance, not a fan of dramas, not a fan of med shows. So that was just miserable for me the whole time. It was so frustrating watching them just throw away like obvious signs, obvious warning signs. Dream getting so swept up on it when she's like supposed to be smart. It was just like, oh, it was so frustrating. Of course there were little funny moments where they're like, oh, this is worse. Guest stars always die. Like that kind of stuff. That's funny. But like, I don't know. That episode was just frustrating more than anything to me. But again, that's just because I already don't like those TV shows. If I had to change anything about it, it felt a little bit too scattered. Like, they had objectives, but it's almost like they didn't even hit them all. They didn't go to all the islands. Not every single section of the world was fully fleshed. Like, season 1, that world was fully fleshed out, but here you have, like, this giant world, like, all scattered, and, like, it just didn't feel quite like they had enough time to explore every single section of it. And it did bother me a little bit that Sam decided to not go with the charm one. Like, I understand she doesn't have to be whatever, like she can choose her future and all that, but it was just kind of like everyone else already kind of picked what they were good at. I don't know, that's more of a pet peeve of mine specifically, because I'm more I don't know, I just kind of put myself in Bria's shoes and I was like, I made this for you and you don't want it, but that's projection on my part. That's solely a me thing. Like, that's just more of a minor nitpick than kind of like the rest of the season where it was kind of like, so when are we gonna go do this? And like with the whole Rock Tabby, how it was kind of like, it felt very like it took too long for him to talk. Again, it just felt like everything was kind of slowed down because they knew they had more episodes, and it didn't feel very like fulfilling when it happened. It felt more like, God, finally. That being said, all of the like magic of the dome that season was fucking phenomenal, which is why it's not down in this row. Because I did complain about it a lot, but all of the like magic and like scenery and props that was happening that season was great. Alright, we're gonna go with number 11 now. We're almost into the top 10. Number 11, Fantasy High, Season 2. Yeah, so Season 2 is down here. Season 2 was the live season. And I'm gonna let you in on a little secret, I fucking hate live shows. I don't really want to watch live performances. I just can't stand the crowd noise. It just bothers me. And the fact that every single one of these episodes starts out with a shout out to Twitch in some way or another does really annoy me. So right off the bat, it's getting points docked for that. My favorite character this season is going to be Fabian. Fabian had pretty much no arc season 1, and in this season he has the best arc. I love the choice to completely beat him down and make him lose a bunch of his like skills. That's so fun to me. I like that he got pneumonia. That's so funny. I just feel like Fabian actually grew this season, and last season he didn't have to. Like, not really. I had too many favorite moments in this season to like really narrow down, so I'm gonna go with 2. My first favorite moment is when Baron steals Riz. This is a horror season, and I love that element of horror, because there's a lot of the season that just straight up isn't horror. Like, they're in Falinal for a few days and there's just no horror going on at all. So sometimes you forget that this is a horror season. And when Baron comes through the mirror and absolutely decimates Riz, that is horror, because I actually really enjoy the horror campaigns that they do. So when they did lean into that horror, I really enjoyed it. My second favorite moment is when Emily just screams choke on grapes stripes bitch. That's so funny to me. The romance between Fig and Ida, it's okay. It's not the worst. There are much worse romances that I really dislike. But Ida and Fig I at least understand and see. And I remember, because I rewatched this one recently also, when they first meet, Fig is kind of mean to Ida. And I just kind of remember like Fig is just kind of generally mean to everyone. And then she like is kind of mean to Ida, and then they get to know each other a little bit better. It's Adine and Ida that actually like get along together when they first meet in Leviathan. But like I do understand why they eventually got together. And I do think they're a pretty cute couple. I do think it's funny that Fig has to be fire resistant. Like these things are funny to me. And I love Ida as a character. I think she's an amazing character. Had her very first battery change, so I'm sorry if the angle's different. Also, I don't know where we left off. I like Ida a lot as a character, and I understand why she and Fig got together. There are some absolutely heartbreaking scenes towards the end of the season between the two of them that I think is honestly great. I don't like a lot of romance, but this is a romance I can get behind. My least favorite part of the season is absolutely the cheating arc. I don't know, it just felt kind of weird to include it at all. The whole Jawbone is poly, but Sandra Lynn isn't. But Sandra Lynn cheats a lot, and Sandra Lynn likes to be involved with couples. Like just giving Sandra Lynn this whole seedy backstory and then like kind of setting her up to fail. Like I know she's completely an NPC, and I know Brennan literally did this on purpose, gave her a backstory specifically for her to have this arc or whatever. But it's just weird. It makes Sandra Lynn so fucking unlikable. Maybe it's to justify why Fig hated her so much in season 1, but it just doesn't make any sense to me. Because at this point, I feel like you're supposed to be liking Sandra Lynn more. Like she's not just Fig's mom. She's an extremely accomplished ranger. She knows a lot of things, like that kind of stuff. And so I just hated the whole cheating arc in general. I don't like romance. So the fact that it was like 90% of romance, honestly, I don't understand why she and Jawbone got together in the first place. I loved Guardy, so having Guardy do something gross like that is kind of annoying. And just like, there's so much other shit going on. Like why? I know why, it was so that Guardy could see Shadowcat and all that. But it's just like, why involve the cheating scandal at all? That just doesn't make sense to me. Maybe some people liked it. For me, it just felt random and weird. And all it did was cause unnecessary strife. Like it made Tracker and Kristen mad at each other, which was horrible to have to sit through, because yeah, Kristen was being shitty, but also like Tracker overreacted, and then Fig's mad at her mom, and then the whole Polly, not Polly, and at the end of the season they just kind of like, oh, we're all better now. Like I don't know, it just felt like it set up a lot of nothing except for the Shadowcat and unnecessary drama between a bunch of people just to be kind of like hand waved away at the end. I don't know, it was weird. What would I change if I could change anything about it? I would bring Adine's panic attacks back. They're just completely gone in this season. Like I understand she has her meds now, but it's still kind of like, it's like not even mentioned at all basically. Like there's such a big part of season 1 to not even be brought up at all in the fear season. Like I don't know. Like even if you are taking your meds regularly, that doesn't mean like shit can't still happen, especially in a season about fear. Like it was at the very end, sure, but I felt like they could have done a similar mechanic like they did in Unsleeping City season 2 with the like recovery mechanic. I know they said the recovery mechanic was a spoof on the Adine panic attack mechanic, but I don't understand why they couldn't have evolved it the same way for Adine, so that she has like built up an immunity, but the more she gets broken down, the worse it gets. That would have made sense to me, but it felt like it was just completely neglected this season, which almost makes me feel like they forgot it. Like they forgot about her panic attacks, and as somebody who has suffered from panic attacks, it was just kind of like, I don't know, I don't know. Also, I would make the season more horror focused. Like I said earlier, they have like several episodes where they're like, no horror happens at all. But we got so much great stuff in the season, it's hard for me to put it lower. Fabian becoming a dancer, making out with the fire elemental, very lovely, I love that. Adine and Aelwyn, like that makes me cry every single time. Adine killing her dad with Adine's Furious Fist, absolutely A tier. Fabian killing the Hangman, like there was a lot of good stuff this season, which is why it's up pretty high. Alrighty, number 17. I think this one's kind of hard to see because of the nail polish shelf. Whatever number I just said. It's the 7. Yeah, the 7's a little bit lower on my list. Not quite in the bottom 10. No, it is in the bottom 10. I think that's the number 10 position for the bottom ones. My favorite character is obviously Ostentatia Wallace. I love the way Izzy gives like 110 to all of her characters. I really like sassy characters. I really like sarcastic and dry characters. I just really like Ostentatia. I think she's great. My favorite moment is obviously going to be when Katya's on the phone with her dad and everyone around her is trying to give her help in the most kind of terrifying ways. I don't really care that much about the drama between Katya and her dad. Again, that's just kind of like not something I'm that into. But just watching all her friends try and help her, I think was very funny. My least favorite part is the whole fight where they're like on the bridges and stuff, and everyone's sitting there arguing with Brennan about whether or not Rake is allowed to do that brush attack. It's weird to me whenever anybody yells at the DM. Like, I'm just gonna lay that out. And there were a few times where they're all like yelling at him, and I get it's all in fun and he's laughing, but it still feels awkward for me to watch. I don't know, I just can't help put myself in his shoes, and like if somebody was yelling at me like that, I would cry. Now, what would I change about this season? As you can see, it's kind of low. I don't think this season made sense the way it ended. They should not have all had happy endings. There's just no way for them all to get what they want, and I think the lesson should have been that's okay. Instead of, yeah, we're all gonna get everything we want and everything's gonna be happy forever. I kind of wish it had gone differently. Like, they're all allowed to be in their adventuring group, but also they're all allowed to go do other stuff. Like, that just isn't real. I'm sorry, that's just not real life. And I get that it's a D&D campaign, it doesn't have to be real life. But it's just weird to me that 90% of the season is all about them fighting about whether it's more important for them to do things that are good for them or for them to do things that are good for the group. And the answer is both? I don't know. Like, I think this could have been a good chance to talk about how after high school you do lose friends. Sometimes you're friends with people just because you are with them. Like, I don't think these girls would be friends if they hadn't been trapped by Calvaxis. They just do not have personalities that mesh well. So many of them, their personalities clash so hard that I do not understand how they're friends, besides the fact that they were all trapped together. So yeah, they're all friends because they were trapped together in a dragon lair, but like, they're gonna have to grow up eventually. And like, maybe this just lasts till the youngest one of them finally graduates. So it just doesn't seem real for them to put so much on the line just for them to all graduate together. Like, I can understand them not wanting to break up the group and have to find a new adventuring group, but it just doesn't make sense for me for the people who did have things they wanted to go do to just get so bogged down by the others. I don't know, it just kind of feels mean-spirited. Kind of weird. They didn't actually feel like friends to me, and I think it showed pretty well in some scenes. That being said, I loved the world building in this one. I loved the Eidolons. I wish they had done more with the Eidolons. That's another thing. I felt like so much time was spent on like drama that we didn't get to talk about the Eidolons. The Eidolons are cool. Okay, this is number 10, so this is barely making it into our top 10. Escape from the Bloodkeep, a very old season of Dimension 20, and this is back when they did a battle episode every other episode, but I think it makes sense here. The timeline on this season is like a day max. So it makes sense that there would be a lot of fighting going on in this season. My favorite character from the season is Soakbar. I think he's so funny. I can't even remember if Mike Trapp is in any of these other seasons right now off the top of my head, but he plays it so funny. I did also really like Maggie. That's another very funny character. The other characters I had a harder time getting behind, and not because they were villains, more because they were like really one note. Leland was not funny to me. I'm sorry, the whole I might be gay is never funny to me. Or is the joke supposed to be that he has a basic name? I don't know, that's just not funny to me. The part that was funny to me was in the fight where he was doing really badly. That was funny to me. Then we have Iffy's pirate character, Marcus, I think it is. Again, really not interested in that character, just kind of being a jerk for no reason except for the one time when he's nice to Leland. Like, I don't know, I don't really like that. And he's nice to John Feathers. Like, I understand that character perfectly. Everything he did was perfectly in character, but it's just kind of like, I don't know, I don't really like watching that. I don't really like watching a character kind of be mean to the people around him and like really conniving. And he's playing a rogue, so like that makes sense, but it's just like, eh. And then Effink, her name is funny, knife backwards. Funny, I get it. But also like, she's kind of boring also. My favorite part about Effink is when she fucking pushes her husband off a boat. That's funny and was good, like, character, but everything else is kind of boring. And then Lilith, again, just kind of like, not a lot going on. She's the Spider Queen, which is cool, but there's not like a lot of character development, which is why I gotta go with Soapbar. He's just the funniest guy in my opinion. Favorite moment of the whole season is when Maggie comes up to the goblin and is asking him questions and he's not giving her an answer, so she yells at him about having a type 5, about don't give me your type 5. Loved that. That was my favorite part of the whole season. I wish they had done more of that. They seemed more like reluctant villains for most of the season except for that, and I loved that. That felt truly villainous to me. My least favorite thing about the season, I have a few. again, it's low. I didn't like Lilith's whole introduction. Like, they introduced her as like a weird, she has one night stands and then eats them but doesn't know it, maybe? That was a weird thing, and it was dropped pretty much immediately. Another least favorite thing, again, I just really don't like when characters like try to pickpocket or sneak around other characters, and Iffy's character is like a scoundrel rogue type, so he does it sometimes and it's annoying. And if I could change it, I would have them do more evil actions, like truly evil. I think kind of just pushing that guy up the boat, funny, love that. Again, Maggie screaming at the goblin, like that kind of stuff, like just truly evil things, not just like, oh, we're the bad guys because we're on the wrong side. Like, a lot of the things they're doing, the heroes would also do, like killing goblins. Yeah, the heroes also do that. And I do wish they had exploded a goblin. I do wish they had eventually hit a goblin with a bomb in it. That would have been so cool. So we're finally in our bottom row. This one's gonna be number 18, which is also number 9 in my least favorites. It is Mintopolis. Mintopolis is a pretty short season. It also uses the Kids on Bike system, and it is 90%, what do they call it, where you just see it in your head? Theater of the mind. The giant contraption they have on the table, super cool. Loved that. Loved the adversity tokens. I do like the Kids on Bike system. Just sometimes it's not as fun to watch people play, in my opinion. But if I was gonna play, I would prefer the Kids on Bike system starting out, I think. There was a lot of the season that is just vaguely forgettable, in my opinion. There's not a lot of YouTube compilations about funny things going on in Mintopolis. There's a lot of compilations about Hank Green's facts in Mintopolis, but not really like funny moments, as I feel like there are with a bunch of the other ones. My favorite character, Siobhan, she plays Imelda Pulse. I just loved how like insane she was. That was the point, she's Impulse. And that was fun to me because all the other characters are playing like really reserved straight men, kind of. Obviously not, they're comedians, but just compared to her, funny. I also love she has like the rich feat or something like that, where she can just spend money, just lets money solve problems. That's really funny to me. My favorite moment, I wrote NA. I didn't have one. Yeah, the season just really didn't hit me like very well. It was kind of very confusing and scattered, and it felt really, I was really like, what's going on? Because it's the Kids on Bike system, it's more like there's so much going on that they can choose. It didn't felt very much like they're on a path. Like at one point they make the guy shit himself or something like that, and it's almost like Britain didn't expect that to happen. Like it felt really weird in the moment. I also really didn't like Hank Green's character. I'm sorry. I found him more annoying than endearing. Like, no, I don't want to hear your facts. I'm sorry, I really don't. Like, this doesn't seem like the right avenue for this. It felt shoehorned in pretty much every single time. And I like hearing facts, just that's not what we're doing here, you know? Like, it feels like I'm not watching a character, it feels like I'm watching Hank Green. I also have this problem with Evan Kelp. Whenever he says any, like, facty thing, like when Evan Kelp starts talking about, like, any facts, especially bird facts, I'm like, oh, this isn't Evan, this is Brennan. Like, it completely destroys the immersion. And Hank Green did say specifically he played that character just to give facts. So, like, again, I understand everything that's going on here, I just don't like it. Alright, we had another battery change, so if things are off, I'm sorry. Pretty sure I got all the way through Mintopolis though, so we'll move on. Next we got number 9. Number 9, this is also then number 9 in our top 10. We have Fantasy High Junior Year, so the 3rd season of Fantasy High. This one is, as you can tell, above Fantasy High Season 2. Our top 10, I had a lot of trouble putting them in as exact order, and Junior Year used to be kind of more towards this middle area, because there's a lot about the season I actually really don't like. But as I started thinking about it more and thinking about like, oh yeah, that was actually really funny. Oh yeah, I actually really liked that character arc. It got bumped higher and higher and higher until it is now here number 9 in our top 10 list. Whereas Fantasy High Season 2 just barely didn't hit top 10 at all. Favorite character this season is going to be Kristen. That being said, I have a lot of issues with Kristen's character arc this season, but she was the funniest. Like, let's be real. Favorite moments? This is mostly the reason why it ended up so high, because there are so many just good moments this season. There's a lot that happens that is just so fucking funny. I love that the season opens on a battle episode, a 2-episode long battle episode. You've got the tactical Yoris, you've got Fig being offered shrimp. Like, you have a lot of these, like, individually so funny moments. They're so funny. Lou constantly rolling bad numbers but refusing to get rid of his dice. Like, there's just a lot of this stuff that's like so funny and hilarious in the moment that they're so good. They're so good in the moment. Gorgug oinking at the officer, telling everyone to get out of his house. Do you have a warrant? The vulture dimension. Like, there's so many good things happening this season that it's hard to narrow it down to like one or two favorite things, because I couldn't narrow it down to one. My 2 favorite moments. Blimey. Obviously. I mean, obviously. The 2 Blimey moments that almost made Brennan quit the show completely. Like, of course that's gonna be on here. Those were fucking good. Especially since Allie was so careless about it. Like, that's so funny. And also, I just absolutely loved The Last Stand. That whole battle set, all of the monsters, all of them working so completely in tandem with each other. That was just some beautiful gameplay, beautiful artwork, beautiful like characters. It was just such truly amazing gameplay and like media to enjoy. I loved The Last Stand so much. Every now and then, especially in these top ones, there are just certain episodes where I'll just watch them regardless. So like I won't watch through the whole season, I'll just watch one small section of the season. The Last Stand in Fantasy High Junior Year, I love just watching by itself. Like that is a contained D&D campaign in itself, and it's beautifully done. My least favorite thing this season, Fig's arc. I did not like Fig's arc this season. It felt really arbitrary, really boring. Like, Fig has had so much growth in the other 2 seasons that I guess there wasn't really a lot of room to go with her besides just making up a brand new problem. Like, I really just didn't like it, and it was like a weird handicap on the party to make sure all of her bardics give people shitty outcomes. Like, it didn't hinder them that much, honestly, but it was still weird. And it was not a very satisfying arc at all. She just kind of felt sorry for herself, and then it was done. I didn't like it. And then the things that I would change about the season. My overall issue with the season is the humor and the story feels so disjointed. Like, it feels like there's a truly horrific story happening, but then also Kristen is doing a shrimp jump. Like, it just feels more disconnected than usual. Like, the Intrepid Heroes are always off doing wild shit that's so unrelated to the story. But this season specifically, it felt worse than usual because Kristen has a character moment at the very beginning of the season where she says being chaotic isn't cute, and then continues to be extremely chaotic for the rest of the season. In my opinion, the chaotic isn't cute thing doesn't even make sense at all for Kristen. Her whole god is like a god of mystery and not knowing things. Like, you have to kind of live in chaos if you're going to be worshiping a god that never has an answer for you. I think what she more meant was being a hot mess isn't cute, which is true, and I wish that more was shown. Like, she got her shit together in the end, but she never really did. She was always kind of like going by the seat of her pants, and that makes sense. That's Kristen's character. That's why I just don't understand why they tried to have that arc at all. Like, it just doesn't make any sense. And there are these truly horrific things, like killing a teenage girl and then marking her so her soul can't go to heaven. Like, that's truly horrific. Her entire adventuring party turned on her and murdered her, and it's just like that is happening in the background, but also shrimp jump. Like, it's just not quite the same. And I don't think it would have been as bad if Kristen had not started out the season saying being chaotic isn't cute, because then she goes and does that all and it doesn't feel cute. It feels weird and disjointed. Also, K2 has this whole thing where she likes to sexually harass people. I really didn't like that. That's fucking weird. Like, I don't know, that joke was never funny. Every single time something happened where like Kristen would strip down or like K2 would like forcefully motorboat people, like, that's not funny to me. That's just weird. And it happened a lot. However, the season still made it into the top 10. So like, obviously those things weren't enough to bring down the whole season, but it was just like sometimes really uncomfortable and really disjointed. Number 8 in our bottom 10, which is also number 19, we have Unsleeping City Season 2. So I did like Season 1 more than Season 2, but I really didn't like Season 2. I already didn't like Season 1. Season 2 is going to be lower on the list. First of all, it was over Zoom. I know they did that for COVID reasons, and I know that was the responsible thing to do, and I know the battle sets were still cool. It was miserable. Watching them play over Zoom is not fun. I'm sorry, it's just not. It's so hard to get into the characters and like really understand what they're saying. The crackling and the audio and the video's all bad. It's just not fun. It's not fun. This is our first Zoom season though, so my favorite character was Cody. I did like that. Kugrush died in Season 1, so like I understand that they had to get him a new character, and Cody was a great, like, fun character to play. He was so fucking obnoxious in the first few episodes, and then like really got into, when he got his ass handed to him in the subway fight, like I feel like that really forcefully mellowed out his character, and I think that was fun. And that leads into my favorite part of the season. My favorite part of the season was when Cody gets the questing blade over Ricky. I didn't like how in the end the questing blade could talk. That was weird to me. I don't know. Again, it's just like, that was kind of silly. And then my least favorite thing was when they go to that hall and they go into the pictures with all the memories. That was a very fun fight, but it kind of leads into my bigger issue with the whole season as a whole. Too much New York and too many characters. There's too much going on in this season that I had such a hard time keeping track of things in my head. Like, Season 1 already had too much New York. I was already kind of losing it and like not really getting into the character and the setting because I don't care about New York. Season 2 was worse. There was more like inside baseball talk about New York that I do not care about, don't understand, and was getting lost. And then they had more characters this season because of season 2. So there was just so much more for me to keep track of. And then they go to that hall where people are in the past, or it's people's like ancestors. And it's like, I don't know what's going on. And like, Null is such a fun bad guy, but I feel like they didn't get used very much. Like, it's kind of like he shows up, then Pete almost punches him in the face, which is that's great, I love that part. But then it's like, every time he shows up, he's like almost immediately gotten rid of in some way, and he kind of feels like he's not as foreboding as they think, as foreboding as he gets talked up to be. The monk that's like supposed to be Sophie's opposite is like so obviously a bad guy from jump. It's like, I don't know, it just felt, the writing just in general felt weaker this season. The pregnancy thing was funny-ish, but I don't know, it's kind of like whatever to me, because again, I don't really care about romance. I did like the ending. I liked how it kind of ended with them all growing up and having kids. Like, I like this feeling of like moving on. Like, a lot of the Fantasy High feels very stuck, and these 2 seasons felt more like people moving and growing. They are full adults, so that could be part of it, but it just felt like the bad guy wasn't even that much of a threat at some points. And again, so much New York that I don't know what's going on, and also it's hard to care. Number 8 in our top 10, we have Fantasy High Season 1. Yeah, the Fantasy Highs are kind of all together in a similar area to me because I feel very similar about a lot of them. A lot of these characters are very flat, very one note, makes sense. It's kind of like their first try at doing this, like maybe not playing D&D, but like, you know, an actual play. It's also their first season, so they don't have their shit all the way together yet. Again, it's one of those seasons where it feels very forced that they have to do a battle episode every other episode. That being said, it's still good, which is why it's in the top 10. And for their first season, it is actually really good. I loved watching Allie not know what they're doing. And I know some people hate that so much, but as somebody who also did not know anything about D&D when I started watching this, watching Allie struggle, like, let's be real, it's fun to watch. Not because I like watching people struggle, but because I feel seen, and I feel like it's an easy entrance. There are a bunch of reasons why I don't watch Critical Role. I don't like live. Matt Mercer is not a DM that I like very much. And also, everyone is so good at what they do, it's really intimidating to get into. And also, the seasons are like 400 episodes long. So this is such a good intro to Dimension 20, to this cast of intrepid heroes who all do so amazing together, to Brennan as a DM, to the idea of D&D at all. And then Allie is such an easy place for me to step into and be like, I don't know what I'm doing either, but I'm just here to have fun. It's really hard to pick a favorite character from this season because they do all feel so one note to me. I picked Kristen because I can relate the most to Kristen's story, but it's just also like, they're all very like I'm the bard, so I flirt. I'm the rogue, so I sneak, like very much playing to their character, which makes sense, but again, it's just not my favorite thing. My favorite moment is from the very second episode with the, I don't know if I can even say this word, but when they bring Kristen and Gorvik back to life. I don't think I can say the other words on YouTube. Learning how actually insane Arthur Eggford is so funny to me. There were a lot of other good parts of this episode. The jailbreak scene, very good. My least favorite part is the dwarf fight. To me, that feels very mean-spirited. And maybe it's just because I rewatched it recently after watching so many other seasons where they solve things by talking it out and don't always go straight to a fight. But obviously they had to do this fight because they had a battle set. Again, it was like that accidental railroading going on just by nature of how they had the whole shooting set up. But these were middle schoolers who were just trying to hang out. And it felt really mean-spirited just going and beat the shit out of them. And then Fig tried to steal their skateboards. Like, that felt weird to me. And like they killed the like golem holding the half pipe and it just was hanging out. I didn't really like that one. Another contender for least favorite thing, I hated that Fig was constantly flirting with Golden Horde. I hated that shit so much. It was always uncomfortable, even from season 1. It was always weird. I didn't like it. If I had to change the season overall, I think just less battle episodes. Just let it naturally play out a little bit more. It felt very much like, this is what we're doing, then we go here, then we do this. And I just feel like it could have happened a lot more naturally. Alright, let's move on to number 7 in our bottom 10, or number 20 overall. Misfits of Magic Season 1. Yeah, I like Season 2 better than Season 1. Oops, wrong side. I like Season 2 of Misfits of Magic more than Season 1. Lots of reasons for that. We all know that Season 2 had a major upgrade. Like the whole lights and sound effects, so the whole using the dome to your advantage kind of thing. Very fun, very cool. I have a lot of problems with Season 1. We already talked about how much I don't like romance. I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start with the good shit. Favorite character, Edmund Kemp. I mean, come on. I already talked about this. The other characters, minus Dream, are funny and fun, but Evan Kelp was just, you know, a step above. My favorite moment from the season would actually be the Christmas special, which I am counting as season 1. They're close enough together. It goes here. Okay, my least favorite and the thing I would change, Dream. I do not like Dream. Now, when I say I don't like Dream, I don't have an issue with the way Dream expresses themselves, that they use pronouns, that they have a crush on Evan. I don't have an issue with any of that kind of stuff. It is simply the way they go about doing it that really bothers me. I don't like romance in the first place. So the fact that there's a romance between Evan and Dream, not my thing. I'm already not liking it. I do not like the way Dream treats Evan in the first 3 out of 4 episodes. It's just so gross. And I know that's the point. I know the point is that she sees him as a character, as like a Tumblr sexy man. I don't like seeing it play out. I hate it. And then when they end up like actually getting together, it feels gross to me. Like it feels like this person didn't see him as a human being for such a long time. And then for them to just like get over it that fast. And that's why I like season 2 when they break up, because it doesn't make any sense to me that they were together in the first place. Like it just feels gross. Because like obviously Evan's like never been with anybody and Dream says they haven't either. But it's still like, it's gross. I don't like it. I don't like the way she like literally bites her wand. I hate that. Everyone else finds that really funny. I hate that so much. Objectification is objectification no matter where it's coming from and who it's going to, and I don't like it. I don't like watching it happen. I don't like how uncomfortable it makes Evan, and I know these are all just characters. I still don't like it. I don't like him being so uncomfortable and her never taking him seriously. I don't like it. And it's most of the season. And her dark, edgy persona turned into like the pretty princess. Like, it's whatever for me. I don't understand why she can't be both. Why does she have to be pretty princess? And also the voice she uses after that like self-reflection or whatever. I hate it. I really just don't like that voice. Which I've seen Erica play on so many other seasons and I pretty much overall liked her characters. But in that season, in this season specifically, I hated Dream. I did not like Dream at all. If she had done anything besides completely lust over and simp over Evan for no reason and to completely ignore him every time he said, "That's fucking weird, can you stop?" Like, it's just, I really don't like it at all. I'm currently rewatching this season and does she ever apologize for that? I don't remember her ever apologizing for that. Like when Evan like gets on her case about it, she's kind of like, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry," but it's not the same and I don't like it. It really, really, really bothers me. It like ruined this entire season for me. I really don't like it. I don't like romance in the first place. They don't make sense as a match in my head, and I don't like the way she treated him. And I have watched the adventuring parties, so watching Erica talk about how that's how they were when they were a teen, and that's how, like, lessons they had to learn growing up. Like, I understand, but just watching it play out in real life, really don't like it. I really don't like it. See, that's the fun thing about doing it this way. We get into my ones where I have big feelings about all together, but they're happy feelings and not so happy feelings. Let's do number 7. Number 7 we have Never After. Never After is such a great season. It's so fun. It is a horror season and I really do like horror. Favorite character for this one is Pinocchio, but I had such a hard time. Narrowing it down. Puss in Boots is so funny. I love Puss in Boots. Ilfa, the Little Red, again, just great, so funny. I love watching Emily play Barbarian. She's so good at it. Even Rosamund. Rosamund is my connection to a lot of the horror of the season. I think she's really good at it. Mother Goose has some great moments. Gerard has some amazing moments. Every single character has such funny, amazing, like really grounding moments that I can like really like feel the character in and like get really invested in. Even Gerard, I don't give a shit about romance, but I felt so invested in Gerard's romance with his wife, or not romance. Maybe that's why I liked it. But yeah, I went with Pinocchio as my favorite character. The voice is hard to get into. Sometimes you have to like get used to it. It was super grating at first. But the first episode where he's pretending to be the Prince of Schubert and he just goes, "Stephen, you idiot!" Like, that's so fucking funny to me. So funny. He like straight up throws away a nat 20 at the end of the season because it's funnier to do it that way. Pinocchio's great. Pinocchio is hilarious, but also has the connection to the greater good, and is also just obviously a little kid trying his best. Like, the characters this season are so good. There's so much dimension to them, and they're all horror-based, and I love horror. The characters are so good this season. The Boy of Destiny, oh, that's so good. Trying to pick a favorite moment this season is also so hard. So much of the season is so good. Everyone's scary. The princesses are scary. The fairies are scary. Everyone's scary, and that's fun to me. But I will have to say, The horror in the season is very much like the first half. The second half kind of lets up a little bit. Favorite moments are gonna be when Rosamund wakes up. Every time Rosamund wakes up and it's like increasingly horrible, I love that as a horror fan. That's so much fun to me. It's so on theme and personalized to her too. And then the idea of the brambles, the briars thinking they're helping her, like that's great. I also love it when the wicked fairy claws her own eyes out after seeing the stepmother. That's fun. The description of the stepmother. The last battle is absolutely amazing. Like there's so many amazing moments this season. Least favorite thing, you know it's gonna be a romance. My least favorite thing this whole season is at the very end when Little Red and Pinocchio randomly get together. I did not like that. And then if I could change anything about this season, there were a few times where I felt, I watched a lot of these pretty recently, which is why this video exists. I watched this one really recently. And it just feels at certain points, again, that thing like you have to go here first. There's that part at the end of the season where they just finished up with the Baron, the pigs, and they get the wolf free. And the wolf says, I'll take you to Baba Yaga, but instead they don't go. Like that's like weird to me. They have the Baba Yaga, or they can go, I forget what their other choice is, but they have a choice where they can go to the Baba Yaga or go try and find the Little Mermaid. And they choose to go to the Baba Yaga, which makes sense because they have the wolf with them and the wolf is saying he will escort them. But then they get to that like little inn and they meet the dwarves, and so they're kind of like forced to go meet with Snow White, which is like weird to me. Like I think it has to do with maybe they'll be too overpowered if they go to the Baba Yaga first, or maybe they wouldn't know to distrust the princesses if they didn't go to them first. But it is weird to me that like they were clearly already on a path and they just like gave it up to go do something else. Again, it feels kind of forced, but besides the like one part it's like not that bad. Again, it's like up pretty high. Most of the season is pretty good. Like I liked that Mother Goose didn't actually have a super happy ending with the Jack that wasn't his son. Like that felt more realistic. I do wish they had done more of the death, like when they die the first time and they like grow into a new darker story. I wish they had done that at least once more. Rosamund kind of has that happen to her, both when she's like in between worlds and also at the very end when her character dies. Like I wish we had seen more of that, more of the like even more twisted versions of everyone. Overall though, this is like a great season. I love this season so much. Alright, now number 21, which is also number 6 in the bottom 10, we have The Ravening War. I'm gonna try and start with the good things for these bottom ones before I start talking my shit. Best character is obviously Raphaniel, but kind of the only funny character in my opinion. Zach's character, which I can't even remember the name of, is also kind of funny, and Lou's character is also kind of funny, but I just think Lou will always make a character funny. Mostly not a fan. Again, this is a very drama-heavy, very serious campaign. That's really not my vibe. The best moment of the whole season is at the very end where they're like taking in the fake prisoners and Raphaniel's dead or like broken in the ground, like slapping the cabs. Like that's the funniest part of the season. That's my favorite moment. There's a lot I didn't like about the season. Again, just the overall vibe is just really not something I like. And I've already mentioned this, but Matt Mercer is really just not a DM I like. It's just the style. I don't really like his style. I'm like, that's fine. I don't have to like him. I don't watch Critical Role. However, I did really like the reveal of this season, how they're doing how these guys are the ones doing the murder of Amithar's sister, I believe. That is a fun reveal. But otherwise, I generally really dislike the season. The time skips, don't like them. The romance, don't like it. The weird feud between, I forget all their names, but Lou's character and Zach's character, don't like it. I liked that Abria's character was a follower of the Hungry One. That's fun. But again, it's just generally like, I don't really like it. There's so many time skips and they're always separate. Everyone's like so separated out that it's hard for them to interact in a way that's fun. The whole mold and the fungus could have been fun and interesting, but it just didn't feel right. Maybe it's because the season was so short, it didn't feel like fleshed out in any way. Like they spent so much more time like doing political shit back at home. Like I don't care. I want to hear more about the mold. Like that's fun. That's interesting. They're like kind of people, kind of not. Like that's really interesting. I don't know. It's just really, I really didn't like this season. The monsters in the very last battle were kind of fun, but they also really didn't make sense. I don't know, it's just a really bad season. I really didn't like it. Again, these are opinions. If you like the season / Matt Mercer, don't be too mad at me. I mean, be as bad as you want to, but just remember, these are just my opinions. Alright, so number 6 in our top 10 and overall, Coffin Run. I love Coffin Run. Coffin Run, it's a shorter season, it's a side quest. Jasmine is the DM, who is my boyfriend's favorite DM, by the way. But this season is just so much fun. I love this season a lot. I love vampires. I love the whole mechanics that they use. However, my favorite character is Alexander. Alexander. Again, Izzy just puts so much into every single one of her characters. I love the mad scientist amongst all these like nighttime evil creatures. Like, that's so funny to me. And of course, that means my favorite moment is when Alexander is screaming, "My wife is the dog!" I mean, that's so funny to me. That's so funny. My least favorite part of the season is the fact that they like set up this whole fight with the like vampire hunter or monster hunter society and then just dropped it. And then they didn't even show up at the last battle. Like, I get Jasmine said that she was rolling off screen to see who would win, the vampires versus the like monster hunters. But I just wanted to see them. Like, it was like weird that they weren't there. And I wish we had some time to see what they could do, because they had like 9th level spells and shit. Like, that's fun. What I would change about it is there were some points in the season that felt like this was already a really short season, but there were at some points where I felt like they were wasting time. Like, this was already such a short season, and every now and then there would be shit happening where I'm like, why are we doing this? Like, we got shit to do. And I feel like Zach's character, probably not Zach himself, the player, but at some point Zach's character was basically saying the same thing. Like, why are we standing around? Can we go do something? And there were certain points of the season that felt kind of like that, but that is kind of my only complaint, is that sometimes it dragged at certain parts. But that's also a lot of D&D actual plays. But mostly I loved the season. It's in the number 6 position. Like, it's high up there. I loved the season so much. Okay, it's much darker now because my camera got so hot that the battery exploded. But let's see if we can finish this up. Where was I? I think this is number 22 overall. Number 22 overall, and number 5 in my least favorites. We give the Titan takedown. Except for Cloudward Ho, which I haven't watched any of yet. This is the most recent season, and I didn't like it very much. But let's start with the good stuff. My favorite character was Thea Kitteru. I loved the kangaroo legs. I loved that she used her jump ability, and I loved that she was a barbarian, but still like had a lot of fun and was like the owner of a bar. Like, not really your typical barbarian. Like, that was a lot of fun. I loved that she was cursed. Like, it gave a lot to her character. My favorite moment of the whole campaign was when the gods had torn down party animals and they roused the people to help them rebuild it from the ground up in one single night. That was really cool because I really liked the shine aspect of it. I really like that kind of thing in any game, really. All those extra little fun mechanics, especially rewarding people playing in character. I really like that. Overall, I didn't like this season very much. I don't really care about wrestling. So like, it wasn't really fun and interesting for me to see like a bunch of big people in the wrestling community, like I assume it is for a lot of other people. The idea of having the battles be wrestling matches is kind of fun, but also, again, just not really my thing. They didn't really work very cohesively as a team, but mostly because this is most of their first time ever playing D&D. Like, all these critiques I have are not about the players. It's just about like, when you have so much other good seasons, you know, some of them are gonna fall to the bottom. This season had a lot of like really fun artwork and stuff in that way, and the board was really cool. The battle sets were amazing, but it's just like, I feel like this, for most people or people who watch wrestling, is what the Dungeons and Drag Queens was for me, because I relate more and really enjoy and love like drag. So probably for people who really enjoyed wrestling, this was probably an amazing season. And like, you had a battle map every episode, which is way more than you have in pretty much every other season. Or yeah, every other season. No other season is gonna have a battle map every episode. That being said, generally speaking, the story was kind of weak for me. I didn't really enjoy most of them. Like, none of the arcs were really interesting to me besides Thea's. And my boyfriend pointed out something really interesting. At the end of each episode, they have the Sports Centaur, which is supposed to be like the spoof off Sports Center, where they talk about the battle. And it happens at the end of every episode, and my boyfriend said that it would make more sense if it was at the beginning of the next episode, like to catch you up. And I agree with that. He didn't like those at all. I thought they were pretty funny. But yeah, so I just like really couldn't get into it, and like, they didn't feel very cohesive as a team until like the very end, or like when they were doing things that weren't battle related. Like, I think they kind of didn't get the chance to like really understand that they could work together. They didn't have to battle separately. I didn't like that Tabby like kept trying to like pickpocket and see behind people's back. It's the same issue I had with Iffy's character in Escape from the Bloodkeep. I don't like it when characters go behind the other characters' backs. I don't know. I know that's like a rogue thing, and that's kind of like the whole point, but it just doesn't fit well for me. I don't like that very much. Just overall, the season wasn't really to my liking. Number 5 in our top 10, we have Never Stop Blowing Up. This is such a fun season. I love this season so much. It's so crazy and wild and just like almost like none of the other like seasons at all, really. This season truly is do whatever the fuck you want, and Brennan will find a way to make it work. My favorite character is obviously Jack Manhattan. It's just a random staple sticking out of the ground. Obviously Jack Manhattan is my favorite character. Izzy always always puts 110% in all of her characters. It's so funny to have the middle-aged woman transform into like the young detective, hot spy, or I guess he's not young, he's old too. I just love that. I love that she's so confused and so bad at her job but still getting shit done. I love Usha as a character, but I don't really care for G13. Pigskin was funny, but it's like not the same. Jack Manhattan had my heart in this one. I still think the very best moment of the campaign is when Jack Manhattan wakes up for the first time. Like, that's just so funny. When she's just on the walkie-talkie just like screaming and they're like, he's got a concussion. Like, that's my favorite part. My least favorite part is pretty much the same issue I had with the 7. I don't like it when they scream at people. And the whole scene where Rake is demanding that she throws her shirt on top of a thing of beans and that should make the ground slippery. Listen, I get that it's funny for some people. I found that just horrible to watch. Like, it wasn't funny, it was just like weird. And then again, I don't like it when people yell like that. But then it also kind of bothered me that it worked. I don't know, like, I get that this whole season is all about like everything works, there's no wrong answers, but it was kind of like, why the fuck would that work? That doesn't make any sense. But overall, this season is so funny and so just everywhere and crazy, and that is the point, and that's why I love it. And I love the system, I love the Kids on Bike system with the blowing up and how they can save their points and earn all these upgrades. That's so fun to me. I loved that so much. The only thing I would really change about the season is something that I don't think they can change about the season. I would rein them in a little bit more, which is totally anti what this season is all about, but I would totally bring it in a little bit. No, you cannot spill beans on the floor and have an airplane slip on it. That just doesn't make physical sense. Number 4 for our worst ones, and number 22 overall, Tiny Heist. Tiny Heist had an issue with me. No, we're starting with the nice. We're starting with the nice stuff first. I keep forgetting. My favorite character is Ty, or TI-83, named after the calculator. It was hard for me to pick my favorite character in the season because I wasn't really super interested in most of them. I just liked how Ty really wanted to make bombs and blow shit up, even if it didn't really make sense to do so. The actual heist itself was a lot of fun, although in some areas it felt like needlessly complicated, and I totally feel for the McElroy brother who had to wait throughout the battle. Like, that must be fucking miserable. That being said, because it was the McElroy entire family, the entire table was basically dominated with them kind of riffing off each other, and I really felt like Jess and Lily kind of got left out of a lot of it. Not on purpose, that's just how it is when you're with people you're really close to. But I think this is the only season Jess is on, and her character was really funny, and I really liked her character a lot, but she just like had basically no screen time. Like, I feel like Jess's character could have been very similar to Margaret and Zeno, like kind of like helping from the background, like funding them and like getting the intel with like her charm and like working her way up in the world. But instead she's just kind of there and she just kind of gives them stuff. It's not the same. I really didn't like the bug that sings, like that was just kind of annoying to me. And then the McElroy brother that played Cargo Jones gave off like really big main character vibes, which makes sense. If this were a true action movie, he would be the main character, but it's kind of like you're not playing an action movie, you're playing a D&D campaign. Again, the concept I love, the concept of them doing a heist, especially with it being like biddy folk, that's very fun to me, but it just didn't work for me. Again, there's like this whole romance subplot that I could not care less about. I love the final battle map where it's the kid on the bed, that's really fun. All of the battle maps are fucking amazing, they're always amazing on this show, but it's just like eh. And then you have the last McElroy brother who's playing the Lego man, but like rarely ever actually does. The first few episodes he's like switching in and out of characters a lot, and that's really fun, and then he just kind of sticks with the one. I also had issues kind of following the story on this one. Like, there were some things where I was just so confused about like who was Snowdrop and the other one, Tip and Tap. Like, I didn't realize like I knew Felix and his brother were one of the important ones, but I didn't realize how did they realize Tip and Tap versus Snowdrop, and I was really confused on what was going on there. It's also really weird that they forced the Lego man to have fun with the kid. Like, why can't he just be alone if he likes being alone? I don't know, it's just kind of like forced character growth that I don't feel made sense, whereas the rest of the people don't really have any character growth. Our number 4 overall, number 4 in our top 10, we have Dungeons and Drag Queen Season 1. I kind of spoiled it a little bit earlier, but Dungeons and Drag Queens is what got me into D20. It's what got me into Dungeons and Dragons. It was so amazing to watch. I watched it for free on YouTube over the course of one overtime shift. I love this season so much. It means so much to me personally, which is probably why it's up so high. My favorite character this season is Princess. I absolutely love Princess this season. I love how she says basically no words until the last episode. Very funny. My favorite moment is at the very end where they restore Fairy. Like, that is just such a heartwarming moment. I bawled my eyes out at work. I bawl my eyes out every time I watch it because this is one of the seasons I've watched a bunch of times. Like, it's just so, oh my god, so emotional. And then watching it along with the adventuring parties when you learn what that meant to Jujubee. Oh, I'm gonna cry right now. Like, oh my god, I love this season so much. It cannot be stated enough how much I love this season. The only reason this was even recommended to me on YouTube was because I was watching Bob the Drag Queen and pretty much anything I could find him in. And most of them had never played D&D ever. And just watching the way they interact with the world, like, it's so interesting. It's so different from everyone else who's like an actor or a voice actor or a comedian. I don't know, they're just so loving and generous with the world they've been given. I'm gonna cry. I just love this season so much. I love, Brennan talks about it in one of the adventuring parties, like the choices they make to be so caring and loving and forgiving, and to also like humble. When they turn around and they ask Nyrith, I think, the jackal-headed demon, when they turn around and ask for forgiveness, like how they go to Shalila and rather than just straight battle her, they like talk to her, invite her, and be friendly with her. I love it so much. Just the personality they bring to the game is so amazing, and I love it. And it made me fall in love with D&D. It made me fall in love with D20. It was so amazing. Like, I literally got a dropout subscription after watching this. See, this to me is how I imagine some people feel about Titan Takedown. I just don't know or care enough about wrestling. I do care about drag. So what I feel for this, I feel like somebody probably feels for this, is just because I do not know and do not care about wrestling that this is down here. This has one battle map. Like, this is kind of an early season of D20, and I still love it so much. It's only 4 episodes. There's only one battle map. And even at the end, in that battle, they're not perfectly cohesive. They still don't truly understand how their powers can bounce off each other. So it's not like this doesn't have some of the same issues that Titan Takedown does, but I love this season so much. The only thing I would ever say I don't like about this season is Jujubee just being perpetually confused. It's very funny to me. It's very frustrating for my boyfriend watching. I found it funny. And then also when Princess is getting her blood taken by Demetra, through that weird romance subplot, like Princess shuts it down pretty fast, but it still was weird in the first place. Third to last, number 22, I think? No, 24. Mice and Murder. Again, we're gonna start with the good stuff. I like Genki Green. I think he's a good character. I think he's funny. And even though he shouldn't, he does kind of mesh well with the rest of the cast. I think Katie does a really good job of playing him, and I like that he has a soft spot for the old Badger woman. I think that's really nice. My favorite moment of the whole campaign is obviously when Brennan had to decide if ghosts were real or not on that Nat 20. That's probably one of the best moments in all of Dimension 20. That being said, this is very low on the list. It has a lot of bad things going for it. Number 1, it's a Zoom season. Zoom seasons just are hard for me to get into. Number 2, I just really didn't like the cast this season. Again, these are all opinions. They're opinions. And I'm not saying this about like a character's personality. I'm saying this about how they're portraying a character, whether or not I vibe with it. This is a me personal issue, okay? So don't be upset when I say this, please. I didn't like how Grant played Sherlock Holmes. I don't even remember if he's called Sherlock Holmes. I didn't like the way he played it. I didn't think he did a good job. I didn't like how anyone played their characters except for Katie and except for Sam plays like an armadillo. Like, that's the only 2 characters that kind of make sense with the way they're being played. The rest of them I'm like, I don't know, this doesn't feel right to me. Like, even Allie's character just felt kind of off, and Allie's an amazing player. The armadillo, I have a soft spot because I'm from Texas, and also like it's funny to just have a character in a murder mystery that doesn't care about the murder mystery. And also he was like kind of on the line for getting it pinned on him for a little while, and that was fun. But like, I really hated the romance between Lady Dumpstare and whatever Sherlock Holmes' name is. I don't remember if he has a separate name, but he's just Sherlock Holmes. I hated it. I didn't think it was good. It didn't make any sense to me. I don't know, just this season in general I didn't like. I felt like such a weak connection to the characters. The way they were portrayed didn't really make a lot of sense to me. It was over Zoom. There weren't really any battle episodes because it was a mystery season, but also the mystery felt kind of ham-fisted to me also. I don't know, it didn't feel good. Like, it felt very, like, off. Also, a big part of the season was texting things to each other, and I didn't watch this like I watched it. I listened to it, so I missed probably 90% of what they were saying. And the only reason I haven't gone back and watched it in order to read all those messages is because I'm not motivated to. I really disliked it. Obviously, one day I'm gonna go back and watch them all because I have to watch them all with my boyfriend. And also, I do eventually want to know what they were texting, but like, I don't have any want to. I'd rather go back and watch some of these at the top over again. I just really didn't like it. But anyways, let's move on to the next one. In our top 3, in our 3rd position, we have A Starstruck Odyssey. I am not alone in saying this is one of my favorite seasons of all time. People really like this season. I really like this season. This is some of the most fun I've ever had. Picking a favorite character is so hard with Starstruck. They are all so good. I love every single character in Starstruck so much. Because it's so hard picking a character. I didn't really like Margaret's like overall arc, but her as a character is so funny. And so good as just like the leader of the group, but such like a soft, like gets hurt all the time, cries every time she gets hurt. That's so funny. Like, I love the way Allie played that character. Then we have Skip, who's like such a dick in the first episode. I was so confused. I was like, why is Zach gonna play an asshole this whole time? Like, this isn't fun to watch. And then when he gets slugged, I'm like, oh my god, that makes so much more sense. And watching him just like fail at being a human and all the other characters just kind of go with it. So funny. Sundry Sydney, so fucking funny. I love everything about her. I love that she had kind of like 2 separate arcs, or like 3 if you really think about it. Like, hey, I'm allowed to want things. Oh, I'm the only one. And also like, I'm allowed like my mom, and the whole mom arc. I really liked it. Then Big Berry 6 had the like amazing, hilarious character, but still a tank and knew how to like be a tank, knew how to help all the people around him. The call to the guards between him and Margaret is amazing. Gunny is hilarious. I love Gunny so much. I love how he's just kind of like a happy-go-lucky guy. Most of the time he's just kind of like doing whatever he needs to do. He's so funny. But I think I had to pick Reba as my favorite. Because even though Reba doesn't have as many big, hilarious moments, Reba is just generally funny the whole time. Because she's so clueless, but also just like so sweet and so nice and just so earnest. It's so funny. Reba just as the whole is just overall has like my favorite vibe, especially when she does pull out her psychic powers and kicks major ass. And I did say earlier that there are some seasons where I just go back and watch certain episodes. In Starstruck, I just go back and I watch the Battle of the Brands over and over and over again. It's so good. Nothing will ever beat Slippery Puppet. Honestly, it's so fucking good. But honestly, there's so many good parts in this season. Like when Emily deals the most damage ever in D20 history to that Arcadian droid. That's so fucking funny. The whole time they're in New Texas. The fucking Nat 20 intimidation roll from Zach. Like, there's so many amazing moments in the season. And I'm having a blast the whole season. Like, there doesn't really ever feel like it bogs down. As for least favorite moments, I didn't love at the end when Danielle Scrap came around. Like, that was just kind of weird and felt kind of unnecessary to me. But honestly, that's like my only complaint. I pretty much loved everything else. The only thing I would change about the season is to make it longer. I want more of them. I want more of them doing random odd jobs. I want more of them going to a place like New Texas and fucking shit up. I want more of them like finding people like Loose Duke. I could have watched like 40 episodes of them just doing the smash and grabs. It was so good. It was so funny. Back down to our less positive vibes. My second least favorite, if that's the way you say that, and number 25 overall, we've got Shriek Week. Not a Zoom one. Shriek Week, I thought I liked. This was one of the first ones I actually watched because I watched a lot of the shorter ones and then went on to the long seasons. So Shriek Week, I thought I liked until I tried to rewatch it. I couldn't get past episode 2. Like, I stopped halfway through episode 2 and I haven't gone back to it. I forgot how fucking boring this season is. This season is 90% romance and drama and college shit, and I do not care. I don't want it. The game system doesn't make any fucking sense. I'm sorry, I don't understand it. It's also really confusing. Every new character that gets introduced is really confusing. A lot of them have very similar names. And also the game master at the end said he didn't even expect them to like go out and fight people when like he set up a mystery that was obviously leading that way. I don't know, it felt weird. I just generally didn't like this one, and I wanted to because I like it when they do new mechanics and they find new ways to play the game. And I liked all the little handouts and like that kind of stuff was fun. And I love movie monsters and that kind of stuff. but it just felt really like, it was so boring. It was very, very, very boring. I also really didn't like, oh, I didn't even start with the good stuff, sorry. My favorite character is Seven, mostly because I don't like the other characters. For my favorite moment, I literally wrote, I didn't give a fuck. So I really did not have a favorite moment this season. I didn't like any of it. It's all romance, it's all drama, it's boring. I really didn't like how they were like bullying Allie's character, which I don't even remember her name. Was it Margaret again? It started with an M. They were bullying Allie's character for some reason. Like they kept saying that their character was like really bad at the one thing she really liked with like the fermentation stuff. I don't know, it was just weird. I didn't really like it at all. Again, it's one of those seasons where it doesn't feel like they should be friends. They don't feel very friendly to each other. It doesn't really make a lot of sense. I don't know, overall this season was just very bad. I didn't like it at all. Alright, second best season overall. Are you guys ready? My number 2, Burrow's End. I love Burrow's End so much. I already said Abria is my favorite DM. This is a horror-ish season, as well as having huge major like magical moments all surrounding a nuclear plant. Like that's so cool to me. I think the season did either get filmed or came out around the time the Chernobyl documentary came out, so it makes sense. This was the first season I watched while they were in the new dome, so I didn't know they could do fancy stuff yet, and I had my mind blown with all the fancy stuff they could do. But I'll tell you, when they first showed that bear, oh, I lost my shit. It was so cool. I love this season so much. I love it so much. It's not even a long season. I think it's like 10 episodes. I love it so much. Favorite character, so hard to narrow down. So hard to narrow down. I love all of them. I love literally all of them. I love them so much. They're such a wonderful little family. The dynamics between each and every character is like fucking perfect. I love them so much. It was so fucking hard for me to pick one. Just one that was my favorite. I did do it. I did end up going with Tula. At least I think that's how you pronounce Britain's character's name. I just absolutely love the way he plays a tired mom. It's so good. And I love Jason and Lila. I love the way Siobhan and Izzy play Jason and Lila. They're so fun together. I love the way they interact with Ava, Erica's character. I love the way they act with Viola and Thorne. Like the way they all work together is just so perfect. They all bounce off each other so perfectly. The siblings fighting, the mom coming in, the aunt trying to help, the grandma doing the opposite of helping. Like it's so beautiful and it's so funny. And yet they have such like the horror of the bear. The horror of the bear was crazy to me. But then Tula's showing mercy and she does that later on. Like, oh my god, so much like character. Like it's great. I love everything about this season. The setting of the world being like such a small part of the forest, but it feels so big from the eyes of the animals. The whole idea that the reason they have this magic is from radiation poisoning. That's such a fun concept. I love that. And then they just have these like randomly, they have these like horrifically heartbreaking and heart-wrenching emotional moments that have me sobbing at work. The fight after the nuclear fight where we learned how Tula died for the first time, and it's just like ooh, the like legitimate fight they have as a family. Rashad's crying, I'm crying, fuck. Oh my god, imagining your sister standing up for you? I fucking wish, goddamn. No, they're just such a beautiful family. I don't know, that whole scene is just like perfect to me. The whole season is almost perfect for me. It's obviously not perfect. It's never gonna be. But it's so, so good. I didn't even read all my little things. Sorry, my favorite character is Tula. My favorite moment, I already said it was the bear. I absolutely loved the bear. It was like the first sign of how horrible things are, how disgusting this world can be because of the blue. And after that, there truly isn't too much true horror. Like you have the reveal that Silence has no jaw, and the sounds of Phoebe eating Dr. Winterbacher. Like there is horror, but the bear I think is like the most horrific part of it. Probably because there's a beautiful visual. The pumping heart, oh my god! My least favorite part of the season is probably when Lila decides to give away all their information to a random adult. Like I know it's totally in character, but it was kind of frustrating watching it from like a watcher's perspective of like, Lila, you're fucking everything up. But I mean, again, that's completely in character. And we had to move the plot along because this is kind of a shorter season. The only thing I would change about the season is make it longer. I want more of them. I think they need a little bit more room to breathe. The very last battle seemed to be over very quickly, but but the Phoebe human monster was disgustingly beautiful. The only other thing I didn't like is all of the stoats in LastPass getting on their side so quick. That just doesn't seem realistic to me. Again, the season's really short. I wish that they had given that more room to breathe, shown more of Thorne and Viola working their ways in and like gaining the trust of their congregation. I think that would have been so cool. But Burrow's End is practically perfect. I love it so much. So much. But now we get to talk about my least favorite. What I think the worst season is, and you can probably narrow it down at this point if you know Dimension 20 really well. The Pirates of Leviathan. Now, it's always going to be hard to like a season that requires you to do homework. The 7, Ravening War, Pirates of Leviathan. You have to have watched Fantasy High to watch these. And, you know, Crown of Candy. Like, these are ones that they can't stand independently. You have to have watched other things. And that's never fun. This is also a Zoom season, where they're on Zoom. Especially in this season, their mic audio is very bad in this season. It's just not really fun to watch or listen to. The music sometimes is way too loud. It's just not really great. Secondarily, I don't think they picked fun characters. Like, it's again that kind of thing where it's like it doesn't feel like they really work together. I don't like the accent. The guy who plays, what's his name? Is it also Marcus? Marcide, I think it is. The Bugbear. The actor who plays Marcide puts on this weird accent that I really don't like. Carlos playing Cheese, same thing. I really don't like the voice acting. And I wish, like, it's a short season again, so none of the characters really have any build up. So, like, I wish we had known more about Cheese and about his wizardry and about how he's learning. Sunny, who I did list as my favorite character, I think has the most going on. Sunny has a mentor, is hiding from her family, like that kind of thing. That's fun and interesting, and it feels very real and grounded in this character. Sunny is kind of the only character that feels like a fully fledged character. Like, the rest of them feel like, at least on screen, like the rest of them feel like they have really cool stories and really cool backstories that just do not get explored. Especially with the Marcide character. Oh, he's mean, but also he's secretly nice. I didn't buy it. I think it's because you can't, I don't know, the way he treats the parrot folk at the very beginning is just evil. It is just downright nasty. No matter how much money you give them after that, you said some fucking nasty shit. Again, they just feel really disjointed. They don't really work as a group for me. I also really don't like the whole singing aspect. I'm not saying that the person who played Barb is a bad singer. She's obviously an amazing singer. I don't want to watch a Dimension 20 show for someone to sing at me. I specifically don't like musicals because I don't like being sung at. There are a few other ones where they do that. In the 7, for some reason, Persephone sings. I don't like that. You don't, just because you're a bard, you don't have to sing. I don't want to hear it. I don't, like, again, she's obviously a very talented singer, but I don't want to hear it. It's just not, again, it's like the romance stuff. It's not something I care about. There's a romance subplot in this. Again, I don't care about it. And it feels like it's such an interesting story, but it's just anything involving an insurance fraud, that's not very interesting to me. And my biggest pet peeve this season, the person who plays Marcide will roll the dice before Brennan has even asked them to roll. Oh, that's a major pet peeve of mine. Like, I always put myself in the Dungeon Master's perspective, and that just feels really rude. I just really didn't like that. Like, that's so rude. Like, oh, I already rolled. Like, why? You didn't even know if you had to roll yet. I don't know. I just really didn't like that. It really rubbed me the wrong way. It was over Zoom. The quality was really bad. It was all theater of the mind. There's like no visuals, which isn't bad. Like, Fantasy High 2 had only theater of the mind. There was no battle maps, and it's pretty high on the list. I just don't like anything about Pirates of Leviathan. There's literally nothing I can get on board with. Like, they even changed the rules and changed some of the lore to make some of this stuff work. There's basically nothing about this season I like. That's why it's at the very bottom. My least liked of all. Bottom of the barrel. Pirates of Leviathan. If you liked Pirates of Leviathan, tell me what you saw in it. I don't know. It's just, it was all of the things that kind of bug me about other seasons rolled into one. And I think it, unfortunately, is going to have to stay at the bottom. I don't think anything's going to top this for worst in quite a while. But that means we get to talk about the best season of Dimension 20 ever. I think everyone's going to agree with me on this. I don't think this is a controversial opinion at all. Number 1, the best season of Dimension 20. on a bus. This season is so fun and amazing. My favorite character by far is the Lind. Listen, Matt Mercer is playing such good character in this season. He's so focused, he's so on point. He's taking in the whole surroundings and figuring out how his character can be involved in every interaction. The setting is so fun and so imaginative. Los Angeles. I've never heard of anything like that before. And all these characters are on a giant bus. It's so fun. And the twist is the giant bus ends up being the bad guy in the end. Amazing writing. I will say, my absolute favorite moment is when Brennan is asking for a clear explanation, and he says something to the effect of, Katie, I don't know what you're talking about. You need to paint me a word picture. I don't know how this hat could have rolled a 5 and destroyed a bus. And she goes, yeah, no. My least favorite part of this entire season is when Brennan and Jasmine, and kind of all of them honestly, are yelling at Katie. Like trying to get more information out of her, trying to get her to be more direct with her words. Like it's her story. Let her have her fun and let her help you along the way. What I would change for this season is I think they need to give Katie more room to grow. They were really hard on her. It was her first time ever DMing, only her second time ever playing D&D, and she was obviously really into it. She got completely dressed up and nobody else got dressed up. She brought all her own props. She wrote the story herself. She even brought her own dice for everyone to use, and they really should cut her some slack. But anyways, Burroughs is absolutely fucking amazing, and I love this with all my heart. My light's dying. I've lost one entire battery and my light has died. I've been standing here for like 4 hours and it is completely dark outside now. And I started out this video saying I wasn't going to try and talk that much about each season. Obviously, something got lost along the way. This is my definitive list of where I think everything should be. I hope I explained myself to the best of my ability. Again, these are all just opinions, very highly based on what I like and don't like. A lot of romance is at the very bottom. I would love to go more in depth someday, but there's just too many to do them all in one video. This is my ranking. Let me know if you disagree or agree with me. Please be kind. It's not that serious. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed watching me ramble on about this show that I love from the very bottom of my heart so much. I hope you all are having a much less grueling and sweaty summer than I am. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.